Hello, this is Wednesday, November 15th, 2022. This is a sideshow, and I'm Theodore Parker. The temperature outside today is going up to, and I emphasize that, up to 40 in this area. Right now we have light snow going on. Overnight it was chilly, down to freezing. Don't forget, if you have similar situations with the weather, option is to use the emergency heat feature on the thermostat. Don't forget about the mask. Again, check the positivity rate in your area. See what it is. If you're going out to be around people and it's above 5%, suggestion is to wear the mask. The sideshow. If you're watching on Facebook, WhatsApp, or Instagram, like, comment, share. If you're watching the sideshow on Google/YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. Yes, those options right below the video. Probably can expand that with your comments, etc., etc. And sideshow. Coffee cups, 11 ounces. Available, being offered for $8. Every morning, I put my feet on the floor, figuring I'm going to learn something. And with that in mind, I proceed through the day, and usually at the end of the day, I have. So about the coffee cups, I could give you a lot of speeches and a lot of scenarios, give you a heavy one-on-one sales pitch about the coffee cup, the sideshow coffee cup. It could have been baseball caps. It could have been t-shirts with the logo on the side, the sideshow, or food got a shelf life. So opportunity presented itself for coffee cups. Don't spoil, don't go bad. And at $8, looking around locally at different outlets, that's a fair, comparable price. So, if you're on my page, where the sideshow is aired, whatever you're doing, expressing yourself, promoting your product, promoting yourself, talking about how good things are or how bad things are. If I don't know your name, I know your face. And if you change your name several times, you did not change your face. So, that being said, this is a nice opportunity, without belaboring the point, for you to have a memento of the sideshow. How does it fit in? It's a good thing to have. Wouldn't exactly think this area a couple of years ago would have gotten to the level of the audience that it is. You know, like I say, that's one of the reasons why I put up a map of the world, because news is coming in from all over the world. And just from texting back and forth with people who, I do have to admit, I've never met in person, some of them, but have been long time people for following the page, being on my Facebook page, having various discussions and things of this nature from whatever country, or even if you're in the United States and have your own culture, which is pretty common nowadays. If you put something on my page, then I'm going to see it. So it stands to reason that if you're going to be there, keep in mind that I prefer good thoughts, good activities, and a good atmosphere. So, Sideshow coffee cups, $8. Talk to me about it. Make arrangements for payment and shipping. And there might be a pleasant surprise in it for you. Not just one person, not just two people, but that's everybody that has a space on my Facebook page that has my name on it. That means you. Order a coffee cup. Holidays are coming. Cold weather's already here. A warm beverage in a nice cup like this would just be all you need to set it off. Okay, into the news. Wednesday, hump day, as some people say. November 15th, 2022. About, 10 days before the holiday, Thanksgiving. So I didn't have really anything in particular that was on my mind. A couple of things, but I kind of handled that earlier in the week, Monday and Tuesday. But the next item that came up, which was brought to my attention, again, although I was aware of it, by someone on my page, by posting something related to it, talking about Iran. Okay, so we're talking about Europe. So let me see. Iran would be right up around here, because this is Russia, where my finger's at in the yellow, and South America, Europe, Asia, Middle East, Iran. Okay, so to refresh your memory, Iran is where the 22-year-old female student was killed in custody because of her not wearing her headscarf properly. In Iran, they have what they call the morality police. So this was maybe September, if my memory serves me correctly. So anyway, I was reviewing one of the more recent stories about this situation, and it had a couple of pictures to go with it. But the one that struck me, well, three of them struck me hard, but this one was of a scene on the highway, and the camera had both sides of the highway in the frame, but this side of the highway was filled with people facing away from the camera, and the other side was filled with cars bumper to bumper. So it struck me, I said, well, maybe those people in the cars got out and came to the other side of the road and just grouped. But either way, it was hardly room for people to even move on the shoulders of the road. That's how jam-packed and how tight it was. And off into the horizon, all you could see was people standing on, someone standing on the cars, whatever. So the next one was another still shot of a group of people who had their hands in the air, similar to this, but the whole palm was dipped in some type of red. So you have all these presumably bloody hands raised in the air. The next one was a group of protesters, and people are protesting not only in Iran, but in other countries in sympathy for what's going on with Iran, with the women in particular, and the headscarf situation, and decisions made by the Ayatollah Khomeini, which is a title which is passed on to whoever it is that's in charge, clerical-wise and law-wise, as to the conditions of the country. So they have not had a situation like this, I think, since 1979, where there's been so much continuous protest. Usually it's like, word is law. We say stop, this and that and the other. But I think like over 300 people have died during this protest movement. And Although they have called for them to stop, there is no cease and desist being recognized by the people of the country. They are in full-fledged opposition to what's going on there from the ruling class. So the latest thing that's been put out in the media is that the Iranian people in charge have passed a law or a legal stipulation that will allow them to put 15,000 people to death over this woman who did not have her headscarf on properly. Subsequently, women in Iran have started cutting their hair, taking their hijab off, and all manner of rebellion in regards to traditional Islamic situations regarding women. And there seems to be no stop in the horizon, in view, no stopping in view. So it pays attention, or it's good to pay attention to how all this is going to play out. Because 15,000 people is a lot of people. They've already executed one, 365 have died. Some of those are including, some of the police that are being called on to enforce, this action. So unprecedented situation there in Iran. So the headlines, or at least a few of them, as they rolled off. Number one, President of Poland says missile strike was unfortunate accident after fears of NATO response. So you've probably seen the news where a missile fell in Poland. They wasn't sure if it came from Ukraine or whether it came from Russia or whatever. But like I say, here we are. Yellow is Russia. Coming over this way, you have Ukraine and Poland and all those little countries right on the border over my shoulder. So President Biden waded in, NATO waded in, of course, to say, well, we're not going to allow anything, NATO, going on, where we have jurisdiction. But it seems to have all kind of settled down now, that it was some kind of missile mistake and or whatever. The other thing I wanted to mention is with Russia, and then North Korea, South Korea, and surprisingly enough, geographically, South Korea sits like on a peninsula like Florida, so it has water around it, and it's North Korea that's locked between China and South Korea, which leads you to all those other Asian arrangements around there. So it kind of fits the reason. So Russia has, like I say, Spain, all those other little countries running around there with the boot. It's Russia again, and then coming over this way and up that way. So they've kind of cooled the jets on that nuclear hit, strike, missile, what happened. Senate on verge of history, same-sex marriage vote. So right on top of this, there was a news item that headlined that the Mormon Church had voted on same-sex marriage. Now, it wasn't but a couple of years ago that one of the county clerks here in Kentucky made national news for not wanting to issue a marriage license to a same-sex couple. I mean, consequently, she wasn't allowed to keep her position, but it kind of reflects the back and forth of what's going on, details notwithstanding, about what will be allowed and what will not be allowed. But, as I say, marriage in its original institution was between man and woman. So, now Donald Trump makes makes people gag with potential new slogan for 2024. Don't know what that is, but it was enough that he had come forward and announced that he was throwing his hat in the ring for 2024. And it had been stated by the RNC, Republican National Committee, that if he decided to run in 2024, that he would not receive any support or any help with his legal fees. And I'm quite sure you're aware that Donald Trump is deep in legal situations in court. Right now is going to court cases being held in regards to the Trump organization. One of the things that came forward was that the Trump Hotel in Washington, D.C. was charging foreign diplomats $10,500 a night to stay there. For that kind of money, I shouldn't even have to I shouldn't even have to leave the room. Everything I need should be brought to me. But it's been brought out and found out and disclosed. Foreign college student jailed in Russia ends up in body bag. Not sure about that one, but Russia is a hotbed right now. And I think the latest thing that was coming up was that Putin was about to sign an order to conscript any foreign men that were not Russian, that were living in Russia to war. Excuse me. Sorry. So you see what happened when he conscripted the Russian men, with 350, 250, whatever the number was, thousands, hundreds of thousands. They just went to flee. Okay, the other thing about Russia and the war, because so much has come out about the atrocities that's been going on from Russia in Ukraine toward Ukrainian civilians, and just, bombarding infrastructure and stuff like that. The count has risen to 400 items or 400 things that Russia has committed that are considered to be war crimes. The other thing that I was going to add is, since so much, and then based on this latest video of Russian soldier killing a man with a sledgehammer, I think they taped his head to a brick and then smashed him with a sledgehammer. But anyway, it's come out that at some point they were gathering prisoners in Russia that had committed violent crimes, murder, et cetera, and bringing them into the military. Subsequently, they make up a large part of the Wagner Group, WAGNER, which has been proven or affiliated with most of the most horrific crimes that have been going on in the Russian-Ukraine war. Dad cleared of neglecting adopted daughter accused of being adult posing as a 6-year-old child. I didn't read that one either. Hells Angels members arrested in deadly attack during Chris Stapleton concert at Shoreline. I thought everybody liked Chris Stapleton, but apparently something else happened. But around here, that being Kentucky, they have a bikers organization that's taking some days to make arrangements to donate toys, for the holidays and things of this nature. So I'm not sure if it's an annual thing, but it doesn't say a particular group. It just says bikers. So I thought I would mention that next to that. Besides the fact that I think one group of bikers went to a protest or went during Gay Pride Month. They showed up to protest whatever activities that the LGBTQ community were involved in at that time. So Russian colonel found shot dead in his office in mysterious circumstances. Well, a lot of back and forth on that one. Governor signs medical cannabis executive orders. Now, this is Kentucky. Governor Andy Beshear has been on the TV. And I want to say this ahead of this thing here. For the most part, from the media, Governor Andy Beshear had, and I think this might be he's fulfilled his terms on this situation. And he has a woman for lieutenant governor. So anyway, he's put a lot of time and effort because Kentucky is like Eastern Kentucky, Central Kentucky, Western Kentucky. And, you have universities, WKU and Eastern Kentucky University, and then the well-known University of Kentucky in Lexington. So it's really an academic community per se as far as education is concerned. But Western Kentucky had, went through the disaster related to the tornado. So he's been pouring money into that or requesting that money be available to help those people because businesses and homes and everything like that was ravaged. And then most recently with Eastern Kentucky with the flooding, then has been pouring money into them having homes. So most people do have a place to stay now. It's just getting the fine points ironed out. So a lot of attention here has been in the media about each process that's involved with getting those people, back into livable, suitable wage earning conditions.